Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Monday edition of was caught there of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Of course, we appreciate, as always, Brock. If you need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need a roof, visit parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com, commercial or residential repairs, replacements. We'd love to help you out. Parishbuilt.com. Okay, y'all, a lot to get to today. We'll recap LSU Tennessee in the SEC championship game as the Tigers fall 4-3. A valiant rally, and unfortunately for LSU, they come up short. But man, Dylan Loy for Tennessee out of the bullpen was awesome for them, and really limited the LSU bats. And meanwhile, Jay did exactly what he said he was going to do, which I think it takes a tremendous amount of discipline to not be all in to win that game, and ultimately cost him. But clearly there are just bigger fish to fry. We're going to find out at 11 what LSU's draw is. I did have some conversations last night, and I'm pretty confident I know where LSU's headed, so I'll share that with you in a minute. We'll let this audience build a little bit, and I'll get to that because I do think I have a really good sense of what LSU's draw is going to be. So I was looking at D1 baseball, and I do not believe they have it right. Again, that's just a guess. It's an educated guess, but they've got LSU as the 2 seed in the Clemson regional, paired with NC State. I do not believe that is correct. I do think they're heading to North Carolina, but I'll share with you what I know here in just a smidge. But let's talk about the game first. What I mean by Jay having great discipline. So Nate Ackenhausen was going through the lineup one time. That's it. He was not going any further. And through 2 2/3, Nate Ackenhausen had recorded 8 outs and 6 of them via strikeout. And he gave up 1 hit, which honestly, the 1 hit was a ball that Jake Brown just misplayed. Where he came in and the ball went over his head. If Jake Brown had not moved, it just stayed right where it was. It would have been like the sand light. Hey, just put your hand in the air, and I'll take care of the rest. Like when Benny tells Small, just put your hand in the air. Anyway, Ackenhausen was only going through the lineup once. He threw 48 pitches, and as soon as the lineup turned over and Christian Moore came up, he brought in Ulloa, and Ulloa gave up hit homer, and you were down 3-1. Could Ackenhausen have stayed in and faced Christian Moore? Yes. If he did, are you out of that inning with a 1-0 lead? Most likely. And then Dylan Loy was awesome for 4 2/3. And then Kirby Connell came in and was awesome as well. The Tigers had a chance in the 7th when Milam got back picked. No, was it the 6th? Where did Milam get back picked? Yeah, Milam got back picked. So Tommy White walked, Jones struck out, Pearson flied out, Travinsky walked. And then Milam walked, and then so you get the bases loaded and they pinch hit Fry for Brown. And Milam got back picked at first. Look, Milam's an awesome young player, and he's a giant part of the reason LSU is even as far as they are. But that's one of those plays where, man, you got to be better. He'll learn from it, though. He'll learn from it. I'd rather it happen in the SC tournament than in regionals. So, anyway, but Tigers rallied in the 9th, and then look, you had an opportunity. You score 2 in the 9th, and you got got the tie and run and score in position, and you got Larson and Milazzo up, and both of them strike out. So wasn't meant to be. One more rally, fell just a smidge short, but Tigers did more than what we had intended. I mean, remember a week ago at this point, it was Monday, and LSU's headed to Hoover, and we're going, man, you got to beat Georgia. You've got to go win a baseball game. You've got to beat Georgia to feel like you are in. I mean, LSU was very much a bubble team a week ago today. And now, I mean, after making all the way to the SEC tournament final, getting 4 SEC wins, you are you're very much in the field. You're going to be a 2 seed, and I think LSU is going to get a pretty good draw. So we'll talk about that here in a second. So let's say some good mornings here. I'll tell you what I know about the regional draw. Tim, good morning. Spurge, what up? Tom Granted, good morning. Happy Memorial Day. Forgive me. That's actually, and I intended to start the show that way, and then I just started down my stream of consciousness and didn't. But yes, absolutely. Happy Memorial Day to everybody. It's a day that is reserved solely and exclusively for the brave women and men who died while serving our country. We have Veterans Day, we have First Responders Day, we have days where we honor those who serve us and serve the country. But today is exclusively for those who died while defending our freedoms. And I love this holiday because it's a day where we pause, and it feels sometimes like, we're going to celebrate and get in the pool or barbecue, or people go to the beach, and you're like, and we're on a day where we're honoring people who died. But the reason those people died is so we could do those things. And I think there's no better way than to enjoy the freedoms that this great country provides us on this day than to do those things. And no better way to honor those people who died for our freedoms than doing those things. So certainly remember those men and women who died, and we especially lift up their families today who continue to mourn their loss. But happy Memorial Day to everybody, and God bless America, and God bless those brave men and women, and may God comfort their families too. So we'll have a great day today, enjoying living in the freest country in the world. So I'm toasting my coffee, I guess. Excuse me. Brian, good morning. Yes, absolutely. Gwen, good morning. Congrats, 6 Louisiana schools making the dance. LSU, ULL, Tulane, Grambling, Nichols, La Tech. Yeah, how about Nichols and Tulane? Absolutely. A little bid stealing going on there for sure. With Tulane, for sure, was a bid stealer. They were not going to be in the field. And of course, East Carolina fell in their tournament, and Tulane won the American. So Tulane's in. It doesn't matter for LSU. It matters for some bubble teams, though, for sure. Merrick, good morning. Caleb should have never taken that. See, that's the thing, Caleb. I'm with you, but I respect the discipline that Jay Johnson had, because then what's to say, well, what's one more batter? What's 2 more batters? What's another inning? No, the plan was he was going to go through the lineup once, and however far that was into the game. And so it was at a critical point. They brought in Ulloa. He gave up a hit and a homer, and you're down 3-1. So I'm not going to sit here and fault Jay Johnson for that at not one iota, because if you ask me what I would rather have, it's every single pitcher at full strength on Friday for the regional opener. That's what I want. So more, as much as you would have loved to, and you still almost beat Tennessee, which shows you how far this team has come since you got swept up in Knoxville. So anyway, Fish, good morning. Merrick Mathern, how are the crawfish? Awesome, man. So we go to my Uncle Mike's house, and several years ago, I remember my Uncle Mike's retired from Bull and the Crawfish, and sort of turned it over to, and my grandfather did it for years. And so then he sort of turned it over to his sons, my cousins, Nick and Michael. But they did an awesome job, man. I think it was still a collaborative effort, but they were great. I mean, I think this is the perfect time of year, the crawfish season, where the crawfish are really good size, but they're not so big that the shells are too hard, the meat's too tough, and they seasoned them great. I thought they were awesome. Let's see, all about sports. That was tough. Love to see Thatcher dealing for a few outs. I'm trying to look at Hurd's final line. When Thatcher, and like Jay has said that, like Thatcher's going to pitch for him. So Thatcher winning inning in 2/3, struck out 2, gave up a run on 2 hits, walked a guy. So, but Jay said he was going to go back. He was getting Thatcher back out there in this tournament, and he did. Michael Cook, what's going on? Matthew Vincent, happy Memorial Day, his best day or go. Yeah, congrats to the softball team on a great season, but they fell last night in Stanford, so they won the first game of the Super and then lost the next 2. And boy, they had an opportunity. I was watching the game. It was in the third. It was early in the game. I think it was in the third. They had loaded the bases, and with 1 out, and then fly out to left field, and they caught the runner trying to tag it home for the double play. And at that point, it was like, that was probably a chance to break through. I don't know. I mean, they had a great season this year. They made it back to Supers. I know everybody wants to win a national championship, and I know that's Scott's goal and everybody's goal, but I know that's Beth's goal as well. And the way they've recruited, and they're continuing to build that program, I would love to see Beth be the softball coach for as long as she wants to be the softball coach. Jason H., Brett DeGrow, Kelly, heartbroken for the softball team. Hey, Dad, good morning. Bubba, good morning. Eli, morning. Some of the best rushers in the NFL, like Watt, Crosby, Bosa, play on the left side of the defense. Why do some people still believe left tackle is where you put your best player? It's a great question, Eli. We actually talked about that with John Stinchcomb on AFR a couple weeks back, and said that exact thing. Of course, John was a right tackle. So typically the belief is because you're protecting your quarterback's blind side. And part of the reason that a lot of defenses put their best rusher on the left side of the defense is to avoid the left tackle to against the right tackle, right? But I'm with you. I mean, and one of the points that Stinchcomb made is like when you're, like, let's say if you're a right-handed quarterback and you're playing from the right hash, well, the field side is to your left, and so you're looking left. Even though your shoulders are, you're looking left, and so your blind side technically is coming from your right side. So I think there's truth to that. Okay, let's see. Hunter Picard, good morning. Tough loss. Everything in front of the Tigers. LSU is the scariest team going into the tournament. Tommy, good morning. Mom's a stud. Kid needs a big NIL deal. I'm sure he'll get plenty. Ryan, good morning. Charlie, what up? Cody, happy we made it so far in the tournament despite falling in the final. Apparently, it's the 8th time since 2013 we make the semis of the tournament. I mean, look, for a lot of years, it was the Maneri Invitational, man. And Jay's carried it on there now, too. Gorilla Town, I don't know. Trivia, what's up? American Patriot softball got hosed by the umpires. I don't know, man. You don't lose 8-0 and you got hosed by the umpires. Bubba, good morning. Have a 125-pound pig and a dozen pork butts on the smoker. Happy Memorial Day. Craig, look at this team. Could have packed it up, called it a season a few weeks ago. These guys never quit. The fact we're even talking about postseason is exciting. LFG Boss, we riding. Lance, good morning. I like the fight from the baseball team. I'm with y'all on softball. I don't know what else we could say. I mean, they had to go out west and played a really tough team. Maybe the best pitcher in Stanford history. They beat her once and then lost to her twice. I mean, it's when the draw sends you away from home, it's generally not going to be favorable. Speaking of draws, I do want to get into what I think LSU's draw is going to be today. Jeremy, Rex, Larry, good morning, y'all. Good morning. Yeah, y'all saying that they should have left Nate in the game. I'm telling, like, again, I say this all the time, y'all, when we talk about baseball, and you know what I'm going to say. If you have sound logic behind the decision you make, I can live with the results. And you brought in Ulloa as a matchup against Christian Moore. And when the lineup flipped, you had made your decision that you were only going with Ackenhausen once through the lineup. And so he faced 9 batters. He went through the lineup one time and he struck out 6. And could he have kept going? Yes. Could he have maybe had the same performance like he did last year against Tennessee in Omaha? Maybe. He was pacing to do it. I mean, he locked up that team last year, didn't he? But when you make up your mind that this is our plan and this is the plan we're going with, because it's not the last game of the season, it's the last game of this tournament, but we have a much bigger tournament to play in coming up on Friday, and we want everybody, we want nobody to be overworked. Look at the pitch count yesterday. Ackenhausen threw the most pitches at 48 of anybody that came into the game. After that, Little threw 32, Hurd threw 35. Literally everyone. You did not use Herring. You did not use Guidry. Obviously we talked about the possibility of throwing jump. Clearly, that's not something Jay wanted to do. And I don't blame him at all for that. Again, that was I understand because if you go let Ackenhausen face more, then you say, well, what if he can give me one more inning? He feels good. He looks good. Give me one more. And then you keep going. And then is he on the shelf until Saturday? What if you need him out of the bullpen on Friday? It's just, you're weighing all these things. And then what if Ulloa had gotten the out? What if Ulloa gets more to fly out? Then it's a brilliant look. It just didn't work out. Rocky, what's going on? Yeah. Denny, Sonny, good morning. Not the ending we wanted, excuse me. Cindy, Shane, good morning. All right, Austin came an inch away from beating the best team in the country. Not a bad day of baseball. Any word on Little's injury or illness? Good question, Austin. I didn't see anything after the game directly, and quite honestly, I didn't ask. That was I'm trying to see real quick if maybe if Jay had said anything after the game about Christian. Lat. Okay. When I saw it, I thought maybe it was hip, but so it was a lat issue. And here it is. Want to throw a few more pitches. Jay Johnson stopped him and pulled him. So your lat, of course, if you don't know, is the muscle like right here under the back of your arm. Kind of like, your part of your wing on your back, your wing muscles. So get him rested and hopefully get him ready to go for Friday if you need him. So strong side, what's up? Yes, I agree. I think Wanaka at first base lost sight of that as well. So, I mean, look, talking about the back pick with Milam, yes, Burke was playing so far off the bag and started to drift behind Milam. And it was a play clearly they had on with the back pick, and Wanaka needed to be screaming, get back, and he lost track of him as well. So that's, Milam can't get picked there, and Wanaka needed to be yes. I mean, that's on both of them. Absolutely. Strong side, Kelly, Taylor. Good morning, Deborah. Thank you so much. Yeah, so hopefully, fingers crossed, Erica's mom's going home from the hospital today. That's what we understand the plan to be. So we're hopeful for it. Thanks to everybody for the prayers. So over 300 watching live. Thank you so much for that. As always, please smash the like button if you're there on YouTube. Subscribe up to the channel. Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. We appreciate y'all for being here with us. Always shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parrish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. If you need a roof, give us a shout at Parrish. Once we find out game times and things like that today, we might have info on the Parrish hat party. So hopefully we're able to do that this coming weekend. If not, hopefully LSU plays in the next weekend. We can do it for the Supers. But in any event, speaking of which, I will share with you some of the stuff I heard. So when I look at some of the regional projections, the D1 has LSU in the Clemson, South Carolina regional. So playing College of Charleston in a 2-3 matchup and paired with Raleigh, meaning if you'd win, you'd go to NC State. The other interesting thing is that Mississippi State did not get a host. Mississippi State got a 2 seed, and I think they kind of got screwed. So State's a 2 seed. They haven't protected a 2 seed in Raleigh. Now, I was also told last night, and I know this is just a projection, but I was told last night that State is not hosting. And that really, really stinks. They were certainly deserving. I mean, a 17-win SEC team to not be a regional host is almost unfathomable. But today we're going to see that pop up, and State's not going to be a host site. You're going to have the 4 national seeds. So Tennessee, Kentucky, Texas A&M, Arkansas, and then Georgia is a host. But that's what I was told. Now, Baseball America has LSU as the 2 seed in the Raleigh regional. Those are kind of tap dancing around it. As good of information I have is that LSU is going to Chapel Hill. So LSU is going to go to, this is, again, we'll find out the selection shows in less than 2 hours at 11. But, and I know Jay had kind of been pushing to go out west, maybe to like Santa Barbara or, a place where you may not have great atmosphere or something like that. But honestly, we talked about this a little bit the past couple of days. Would you rather go, would you rather have a more manageable regional? Like if you were the 2 seed in the number 16 regional host, like if you went to Santa Barbara or something like that, or Terre Haute, but you're paired with Tennessee or Arkansas or something like that, that would have been a really tough draw. So my understanding, and y'all mark this down, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think my info is good. Is that LSU is going to go to North Carolina. Their 2-3 matchup is going to be against Wofford, which is about as good a draw as you could possibly hope for to play your way into the marble game. And then LSU, then the 2 regionals, the North Carolina regionals paired with Tucson, Arizona. So if, in fact, LSU does happen to win the Chapel Hill regional, they will go and Arizona wins its regional, LSU would go to Tucson to play Arizona in the Super. So Jay against his former squad. So that's the best, most up-to-date information that I have. We'll find out for certain at 11. Again, I think everybody has sources. You make as best of an educated guess as you can. Again, D1 Baseball has LSU a 2 seed in Clemson paired with NC State. Baseball America has LSU a 2 seed in the Raleigh regional going to NC State. But that's the information I have. Like, I'm not putting out a field of 64 bracket, but the tidbits that I've been told is that LSU will play North Carolina in the North Carolina regional as the 2 seed against Wofford, who will be the 3 seed, and then paired with the Tucson, Arizona regional. So, man, that would be a lot of fun if Arizona went through and Jay got to go against his former squad. If it happens that way, again, I want to be clear. Like, I haven't seen the bracket, and also the other tidbit is that I was told State is not going to host. But if you are, let's see how it plays out. But again, like, the guys at Baseball America have really good info. The guys at D1 Baseball have really good info and connections. Like, I may not have any info with people in Stillwater, for example, to know like what they're looking at, but I do have a pretty good sense of Baton Rouge and LSU and what that's like around the SEC. So, if that's how it comes up today, any of these projections, if it's what I said, I think that's a great projection. D1 Baseball, look, you're the 2 seed in Clemson playing College of Charleston. That's a winnable 2-3 game. If you happen to be Clemson, then you're paired with the NC State regional, which, again, that feels super winnable. You know, Baseball America's got you going to NC State, playing, what did I say they were playing? Playing Northeastern. So either way, like, the benefit of moving your way up onto the 2 line is it gives you a more favorable draw in that 2-3 matchup. So, instead of being a low 3, having to go against one of the high 2s, like, for example, like, if it comes out, and as I'm told, Mississippi State is not a host, and I think they got robbed. Well, Mississippi State, that is a brutal draw for whoever has to play State as a 2 seed. It's a 17-win SEC team with a let's see, State with an RPI of 25. I mean, 38-21. Strength of schedule 14. I mean, their non-conference strength of schedules would get them. That's 132. But my goodness, State's 16-14 in quad 1 games. I mean, you played 30 quad 1 games, you get 16 wins. I mean, so anyway, I feel like if it comes up that way that State is not a host, and that's what I'm told is they're not a host, they got complete, like, just put it this way, like, that would be just complete robbery if you were an LSU fan and LSU had won 17 games and had 16 quad 1 wins and you're not a host. You just feel like you got robbed. And so, like, as we were talking about putting together, the regional, so like we were saying, there's 2 ways to kind of look at it. Do you want to be a high enough 2 to where you're paired with one of the lower hosts, but to where you're at one of the lower host sites, but you're paired with like a Tennessee or an Arkansas? And look, I mean, when you look at Tennessee, Arkansas, Kentucky, A&M, I mean, those are probably going to be, I don't know the ordering, but those are going to be maybe 4 of the top 5 national seeds. But that means if you win your regional, then you're paired with an SEC and a more difficult super regional. The way that it kind of plays out, the way that I understand it is, you would avoid having to go to an SEC super regional, which obviously, like, if you had to go to Fayetteville or Knoxville, like, that would be brutal. Tucson, that ain't super awful. You know what I mean? So anyway, all right. So that's what I've heard. That's what I know. Let me see what reaction y'all got to this. Where are we? Whoops. All right, my apologies, y'all. I'm trying to find where I was on here. Okay. All right, Jeff McKithen, good morning. Stephen Miller, Baseball America projects LSU to Raleigh. Who knows? Yeah, so kind of those might have been a little bit before. I'm sorry, y'all might have made those comments a little bit before I was running through it. So again, Baseball America has LSU on a Raleigh. D1 has LSU going to Clemson, but my information is LSU is going to Chapel Hill as the 2 seed against Wofford, the 3 seed, and they're paired with Tucson. So that's what I understand. Go Tigers over Oklahoma State. Look, there's a lot of projections that, like, every day, all these sites were updating their regional projections. So we saw Norman, we saw Stillwater, we've seen all of it. I'm telling you what conversations I had late last night. That's what I believe is going to be LSU's draw. No, Matt, you better be right about that. All of a sudden, I'm thrilled with the bracket. Please be right. Good Lord, man. Go Tigers. I don't want to play Arizona. Why not? I mean, like, if I told you could go on the road to Tucson where there's going to be no atmosphere, or you could go in a super to Fayetteville, to Knoxville, to Lexington, to College Station, like, nah, fam, like, give me Tucson, please. I mean, Arizona's RPI is 31. Arizona's RPI is 31. They are strength of schedule 31. Arizona's non-conference strength of schedule is number 1. That's the thing that gives them a boost. They were 12-22. No, forgive me. I'm sorry. Forgive me. That was Ole Miss. Arizona was 3-9 in quad 1 games. They have 3 quad 1 wins. So you like go back to the point about Mississippi State now. So Arizona 3-9 in quad one games. They only State has more quad one wins than Arizona played games total. So in any event, um, let's see. Cortland, Oklahoma, NC State, Virginia have the worst ERAs. Those are the ones I would prefer. Noah June sounds like Omaha to me. State got robbed. I agree. Wayne, good morning. Austin, Jake can pull a Nick Saban on his former team, but it's in our favor this time. It would be cool, man. It would be cool to see that. Again, we'll see how it all plays out. Let's see. Wayne, good morning. Oh, sorry, I read that one. Go Tigers. This team plays a level of competition. You go play some scrubs. I don't believe that at all. They swept Ole Miss in the final weekend of the regular season. Like, that's just not a good comment. Steven, avoiding an SEC. Yeah, I think avoiding an SEC team in the Super would be huge also. As big a point, because no matter what, if you're not hosting a regional, you're going on the road, it's still a 4-team regional. You still would have to win a marble game against a good team no matter what. But really, the challenge is, if you went to go play a Super on the road, give me a more manageable Super, because no matter what, winning a 4-team regional is going to be a challenge. But if you win that 4-team regional, like LSU did when they played Oregon, and then they went to Knoxville and lost, because it was a really tough draw. So I could for sure completely agree. So I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. But if that is LSU's draw, if they're playing North Carolina paired with Arizona, I don't know that I could have drawn it up better. Like, yeah, you could have gone to Santa Barbara or Terre Haute or something like that, but that also means that you would have gotten a much more difficult super regional draw, a more winnable regional, but a more difficult super draw. So, Joe, good morning. I'm not happy at all if I have to play LSU as a 2. No, well, I mean, LSU is going to be a 2, Joe. I mean, they played their way up to a 2. And honestly, if you're a 2 or a 3, I mean, it's a 2-3 matchup either way. If you're the 2, obviously you're playing a lower seeded team. If you're a 3, you're playing a higher seeded team. But it's still almost what and what with that. It's more so how far up the seeding you climb to give yourself a more favorable draw. And clearly LSU did. Let's see. David, Scone, do you think they stick to jump on? Yeah, absolutely. Jump Friday, home and Saturday. I mean, look, I mean, I just go with precedent. So if we saw Jay Johnson last year throw Paul Skeens against Tulane, yeah, I think he's going to throw his best on Friday. He's going to go a jump on Friday, and then you have Holman for a marble game, and also the decision not to throw jump against Tennessee when they could have done with jump what they did with Ackenhausen. Just get me through the lineup one time. He could have done that on 4 days rest, and would have given 4 days rest before a full outing in the first game of the regional. But he didn't pitch him, so he'll be able to do whatever he needs. So, Austin, midweek pitching. Steven, State having 5 quad 4 losses may have been the reason they aren't hosting 2. That's I mean, you're right. That is the blemish on their record is the bad losses, and that was all at the very beginning of the season. It was like the opening weekend too, wasn't it? Not that anybody really cares, but State's non-conference schedule at the beginning of the season. Where's the games? Where are the games? I'm on Mississippi State's website. Oh, there we go. Text. There we go. So they lost the game to Air Force. They lost twice to Austin P on a weekend series. Or they played a midweek series against Austin P and lost twice. They played Georgia Southern in a 3-game home series, lost one of those. So they lost to Air Force, twice to Austin P, and once to Georgia Southern. All there at the start of the season. Then they ripped off like 10 in a row. So that's probably, it was all at the very beginning of the season too. So, I mean, I would still hate it. Like just be real. If the shoe's on the other foot and that's LSU, you're kicking and screaming and just mad as hell. But I think all the projections that have State as a 2 seed are correct, because that's my understanding as well, is that State did not get a host, which I think they got screwed. But I'm not super, super worried about it, because I'm just more concerned about LSU's draw. Who wants them to travel to Tennessee or Arkansas for the Super? Not me. Exactly. Brent, what's going on? Cortland, the host sites were released, and Tucson is a host, not Starkville. Oh, that's right. They did release them last night. So I was told that last night, but they did already release the hosts. Austin, I love Tucson, lived there for a year. It's a beautiful place to play baseball. I'd only been to Tucson once. I went when LSU played football there in 2003, and my experience was just kind of comical because I'll never forget, and we didn't know at the time, of course, that LSU team went on to win the national championship. And it was just such a novelty to go play in Tucson, which LSU had never done before. So me and a buddy, we flew out there, went to the game. And so there was the strip, right? The bars and the restaurants and all. As I remember, it was still on campus. And we ended up at this bar where all the LSU fans were and took over. But they were just, safe to say, there was just no real atmosphere. And I remember there was a guy, he was like a soccer hooligan with like a Ramones t-shirt on. And he was like, what are y'all here for, man? We're here for the game. They're like, oh, there's a game tomorrow. They had no clue. I mean, and I remember they didn't even open the parking lots for the football game until 2 hours before kickoff. So everybody that wanted the tailgate's like, well, where do you go? It was interesting, to say the least. Jesse saw a prediction of LSU going to, yeah, we've seen Norman, seen Stillwater, seen Raleigh, seen Clemson. Again, the information I have is that LSU is going to Chapel Hill. They're going to Chapel Hill as the 2 seed, and they're paired with Tucson. So we'll see. I mean, there's, again, like, everybody puts together their best guess. You talk to, you do your best to try to cultivate information and get good info, and you make an educated guess. But again, as best I could tell, piecing it together, looks like LSU's heading to Chapel Hill paired with Tucson. AirTech, happy for them. Some people thought they wouldn't make it there, so they made it. Plus, they made it to the final 2. Have a lot to be proud of. Sure, they would have loved to have won it. Yeah, look, I mean, again, the tough part about the game itself is you can look back to the 3rd inning when Ackenhausen had struck out, 6 of the first 9 hitters and allowed just 1 hit. And chance to get out of the 3rd with a 1-0 lead, but you just made the decision. He was going through the lineup one time, and so you stuck to that. Jay stuck to it, was disciplined. I don't fault him for it. Like, yes, it cost you. You brought in Ulloa, and Ulloa gave up a hit and a homer, and gives up the 3-run blast. It stinks. But I also understand Jay had a plan. He stuck to it. And I do not fault his plan one iota, because I would much rather have Nate Ackenhausen fully available instead of stretched for Friday. Smash the like button if you would. Subscribe over to the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. Jeremy, cooking breakfast on the griddle, kids playing in the pool, watching Morning Scone. Love it. Y'all enjoy the day. Devin, let's see. He's talking to Go Tigers. They ain't giving us nothing easy. If the draw is what I think it's going to be, that's about as good a draw as you could hope for. Stephen Miller, Chapel Hill's beautiful scenery as well as great park. Isn't it in Am I mistaken? So I've never been. I've been to Chapel Hill. I've been to the Triangle, right? Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. But isn't the baseball park in Cary, or do they now play in Chapel Hill? Uh, okay, so it is. So what's in Cary? Because Cary, North Carolina, is where like the Team USA training is, right? Um. Anyway, but yeah, I mean that is that's a beautiful part of the country, man. Um. Anyway, Jeremy, what's up? Eric Wilderotter, with so much pressure to expand college football playoff and March Madness, we rarely hear that with college baseball. Do you anticipate expansion here, and how would they do it? It's a good question, Eric. I understand fully why they want to expand the college football playoff and the NCAA tournament, because those are billion-dollar properties, and the more, yes, you could say it's more equitable to have more teams. It's more fair way to go about it. But really, what it is, it adds more TV windows, right? You're adding more TV inventory, and so the price goes up. The price of the TV deal goes up. I don't know necessarily that adding more regionals um, dramatically increases the cost. Because remember, the football and basketball have their own TV deals, but then ESPN has the deal with the NCAA for the rest of the championships. And like, remember, this was a big deal. Like, they just re-signed it. And the big thing was like the value that the women's basketball championship brought. So let's see. ESPN, NCAA. 8-year media rights deal. They just renewed it. Anyway, so I guess my point, and it's, there it is. So ESPN and NCAA agreed to a $920 million 8-year deal for the 40 championships that they broadcast. So, I mean, think about that. So 40 championships over 8 years, 920 million, like that's less than 1 year of the basketball tournament, right? So you could add more to baseball. It's just not going to boost it the way. And that's the thing. Like I tell you all the time, the thing that motivates those conversations is money. Chad, regional sites already announced. Yes, state didn't. My bad. Yes. Murray draft, LSU softball got bounced. It's ridiculous to have a run rule in postseason games. They should play the whole game. Air Tech, great Memorial Day. Remember those that served and still do for our freedom. Air Tech, I mentioned it at the start of the show today. And yes, obviously we honor all men and women that serve, but today is not about those that served. We have Veterans Day. We have First Responders Day. We have days that honor those men and women. And yes, absolutely, they should be honored. Today is a sacred day where we pause and specifically remember the men and women who died. That's Memorial Day. So, yes, every brave man and woman that served our country in any capacity, they deserve our thanks and gratitude and respect. Absolutely. But today specifically is about the women and men that died while serving our country and protecting our freedoms. And I said at the start of the show, I'll say it again since there's a new wave of people watching. I love Memorial Day because there's, some people look at Memorial Day and you see people go to the beach and barbecue and swim in the pool and all that sort of stuff. And it feels like, I don't know, inappropriate or insincere, considering we're honoring people that gave their lives. But I think it's exactly the thing we should be doing. We should be enjoying the freedoms that those people died to secure for us. So, yes, we absolutely pause to honor their sacrifice and to pray for their loved ones that mourn that loss, and live life without their loved ones. That's of course that's a giant part of today. I do love the part of today that lets us go do the things freely, enjoying what this great country provides because those people provided it for us. So, yes, happy Memorial Day. You know, I love this holiday. Go Tigers, Matt. Can you explain the bids and how does all that work? Well, I mean, there's a committee. So there's an NCAA tournament selection committee, and they get in a room and they decide who's in the field, who's going to be the host, the 8 national seeds, the 16 regional host sites, and then they fill out the brackets the rest of the way. So I don't know what else I can provide. I mean, I'm not in the room. I don't know the conversations that they're having. So how they make the determination of who got in, who got left out, who was a host, who didn't. Like, obviously, the conversation we're having a bunch here today is Mississippi State. Like, why didn't Mississippi State get a host site? I would love to hear the explanation of that. But ultimately, it's just those people in the room that vote on that stuff. Eugene, bonjour from a Creole boy in need of crawfish bisque here in South Philly. Love it. Let's see. Steven, Arizona won the last ever Pac-12 game. Oh, wild to say that. That's true. Are they going to keep the Pac-12? That's going to be interesting though. Like, are they going to keep? It sure sounds like Washington State and Oregon State are going to keep the Pac-12 branding, and quite honestly, they should. I mean, there's more brand recognition of the Pac than the Mount West or whatever they end up formulating as a partnership. But yeah, that is wild, man. It's going to be even wilder to see UCLA playing baseball in Champaign, Illinois in February or March. Dev, okay. Cortland, UNC would be tough. They're top 15 ERA and scoring offense. No, I'm not. Listen, if you're traveling for a regional, none of them are easy. You just look at what's manageable. And so I point out, like, okay, if you have jump going in game 1 against whoever you're playing, like, for example, again, my understanding is the 2-3 matchup is Wofford. Okay. If it's that or if somebody else, we'll all find out here in about an hour and a half. Whatever it actually is. Whoever jump is going against, you feel really good about it. Well, then you come back, if you win it, in a marble game with Luke Holman. And if it's North Carolina, as I think it is, or if it's NC State or Clemson, whoever, like some of the other projections, you have jump going in that game. Do you feel good about it? I mean, I do. I mean, jump. There was a time when you were 3-12 in the league, and jump was only, or Holman's the only guy that won you a baseball game. So, anyway, of course it's not going to be easy, but it wouldn't be as good of a draw as if you were at the box. But you played your way into this. Noah said, Matt, if you could choose where to go, wouldn't it be Chapel Hill pair with Arizona? Absolutely. It would be. What it would be, Noah, is avoiding. It's what Steven said and what we've talked about. It would be avoiding a super regional where you had to go to Fayetteville, Knoxville, Lexington, College Station. Like, that would be my choice. Yes. Jacob Willis, good morning. My friend Michael just started following LSU baseball around the A&M series. Okay. I don't really understand the regional and super regional format. Playing Wofford in Arizona feels really easy. Go Tigers. Yes. So the regional is a 4-team regional, and regional sites are paired. So, like, for example, I'll just use D1s. So D1 has LSU in the Clemson, South Carolina regional paired with Raleigh. So Clemson is the number 6 national seed. So if this were the case, and again, I don't think this is the case, but for example, the winner of these two regionals will play each other in the supers. So you're kind of looking both at the regional you're in and then also what your path is in a super regional as well. So yes, I would agree with you. While Chapel Hill and playing North Carolina would be a tough draw because they're one of the best teams in college baseball this year. And I'm not saying it would be easy to get through that regional. None of the regionals would be easy, but if you do get through it, it gives you a more manageable path through a super regional if you're able to get there. As opposed to saying, okay, like, for example, they have East Carolina. D1 baseball has East Carolina as the 16 seed. So, okay, well, if you went to Greenville and you win the East Carolina regional, well, then you're paired with Knoxville as Tennessee is the number. So then you have to go to Knoxville and win a series. So that's how you kind of manage it all or balance it. Excuse me. Landon Miller, excited the Tigers are hot. A lot of fun last year during the tournament with all the late night scones. Yeah, man. Looking forward to it again. Hopefully we have reason to keep doing it. Hughes, good morning. Yeah, State's not hosting. Seth, it's time to move on from. Is it time to move on from? Seth, a lot of people have asked that question today. I think, last year was disappointing. This year to bounce back, have a great season, to host in the regional round and you have to travel in the supers and tough draw. I mean, you won the first game against Stanford, who, they showed you all throughout the thing. I mean, it's their most decorated pitcher ever. And then you lost to her twice. So I don't know, man. I'm completely biased because I think the world of Beth. I think she's awesome. And I mean, she's the winningest coach in the program's history. I also understand if you have this desire to get to the Women's College World Series and win it, you've gotten there a whole bunch. Hang on, sorry. Mm-mm-mm. I think LSU's going to Chapel Hill, y'all. I think LSU's going to Chapel Hill, and they're paired with Tucson. I mean, all the people I keep asking who would know seem to be confirming that. So, anyway. All right, smash the like button if you would. Subscribe over to the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. Hang on one second. Darren, absolutely, man. Remembering those that gave all. I know a lot of people are asking about Beth today. Again, I don't blame you for having a loftier expectation, for wanting to get back to the Women's College World Series and win it. It's the expectation that Scott Woodward set in every sport. Gymnastics won a national title. Women's basketball won a national title. Baseball won it last year. I mean, it is the expectation. But I also look at Beth and I see the winningest coach in program history, a coach that's brought you to the Women's College World Series a handful of times, and a program that, if you're not paying attention, is and has been in the past several years recruiting exceptionally well, and I think will have a great chance to get back to that level. So, admittedly biased because I want Beth to coach at LSU for as long as she wants to coach at LSU. But I do understand those that say that it's fair to ask the question, like, have you hit your ceiling? It's fair to ask that question. But my personal opinion, I want to see Beth Torina coach at LSU for as long as she wants to coach at LSU. That's my personal opinion, because I think she can get LSU there. And it might be NIL infusion, a lot of those sort of things that you'll need to get you over this hump. Um, all right. Nick, interview with Pulmonary about talk with Skip was a great outlook on the selection committee. Do they have SEC representation now? You can find all of the members of the baseball selection committee. Let's see. Go Tigers. Oh, weed headers. Okay, whatever. You're on one today, man. Darren, I love how this team is playing right now. 5 wins away from taking over Rocco's. Connor, has your opinion of Vitello changed the past 2 years? Seemed like the last 2 Tennessee teams have toned it down a lot. You mean the Tennessee team that just 3 nights ago was trying to fight the Mississippi State team at the end of an inning? They were smack talking? Yeah, no, I don't think so, Darren. I think he is who he is. Oh, sorry, that was Connor. I think he is who he is. Armani, I think unfortunately Milan pick off at first hurt the game tremendously. Yeah, thank you. There it is. Tennessee and Mississippi State. Like, no, that's who Tony Vitello is. Is Nate our third guy, or is it Hurd with vast improvements? I think, Armani, that it's pretty clear Thatcher Hurd is good for you in short stints. And if you're going to go into a game 3, you're going to take it by the approach of who's available. You would love it for it to be Ackenhausen like yesterday. And man, to see him, well, he gives Tennessee fits, doesn't he? But to see him pitch the way he did yesterday makes you feel really good about a game 3 if you don't need him in the first 2 games. Let's see. Donald, Ackenhausen is a bullpen guy. He was in Fuego. Should not have taken him out. I just disagree, man. Like, because while it wasn't just any other game, like it wasn't as important as what's coming up this week. So I understand your take, but Jay Johnson went into that game with a plan, knowing he was only letting Ackenhausen go through the lineup once. And as soon as they did, they pulled him because you have bigger things ahead. All right. Kevin Ashton, D2 World Series played in Cary. Let's see. Cortland, easiest top 8 would be Norman. They play in Chapel Hill, been to the campus, saw baseball and football stadiums, went to Duke's campus, love their stadium. I've been to it. I've been there. I mean, I've been to the Dean Dome. I've been to Krzyzewskiville, been to a game at Cameron. I've seen all the campuses, but anyway. UNC has some dudes. Let's see. Wendell, college sports have a hard end-by date. Can't really expand the length of the tournament without shortening the season. Brant, morning. Now tomorrow all day at work, and I hear LSU sucks. Then I'm going to respond with, I'll listen to you when y'all don't blow it in the postseason and bring home a natty. That's all I got to say, Brant. Is sure, like, enjoy your SEC tournament championship trophy. We'll go look at our 7 national championship trophies. Where are yours? Let's make a trip over to the campus. You can show me your national championship trophies. Tennessee fans. Michael, Crawfish Bowl was great. Devin, thanks, man. Had a great time. What was the conversation about the SEC is being sued? I heard during the game yesterday. Don't know. Kobe, I love you too. Thank you. Dusty Rhodes. Donald, the plan was to have Nate go through the ones. Yes. See, again, like, that's just the point. It takes tremendous. You say, why not change the plan based on what's going on in the game? Because that's the point. Like, it would have been so tempting to say, Nate, we're going to let you extend. But the point is, he was at 48 pitches. Like, you want Nate Ackenhausen available for Friday if you need him. You do not want to extend him in that game. While, yes, you'd love to win it, you did what you had gone to Hoover to accomplish. Would you have loved to win? Yes, but at what cost? It's not at the risk of not having Nate Ackenhausen on Friday if you need him. And so they went in with the plan. They stuck to the plan. It would have been so tempting to let him continue. But you realize you had bigger fish to fry. And what if Ulloa had gone in and gotten Christian Moore to pop out? He didn't. But what if he did? If he did, we wouldn't be having this conversation. What if Milam didn't get backpicked at first? What if Larson and Milazzo didn't strike out to end the game with a tying run at second? I mean, what if? It's a long game. It's 27 outs. Damon, what's going on? Danny, I know it wasn't the season we anticipated, even though we turned it around. Imagine being Florida. They lost the championship and might miss the tournament. I'm told Florida's in. The SEC did get 11 teams in. Christian was just thinking about how we haven't heard from Anthony G in a while since the baseball team started winning. Anthony's a good dude, but I've called him the most negative fan the LSU fan that I know. He is the was it Dennis Quaid or Randy Quaid? I forget. Randy Quaid, I think, in Major League 2. He's the fan just yelling in the outfield like, "You stink!" Wow, you stink. That's Anthony. Let's see. Benefit going deep. We're seeing Hurd, Helmers, Anderson. Those guys will be key coming out of the pen. I disagree with you. I don't think those guys will be key coming out of the pen. I think if you're I think they'll go to Hurd. Jay said that, but if you're relying on Helmers or Kate Anderson at some point, you're in a bad way. Mark S. Morning, Matt. Could you and Musso get together for a baseball recruiting class breakdown? I will. So to be very, very candid, I don't think that Musso or I know enough about the high school players and their showcase and all that sort of stuff. What I do every year is I just go talk to some of my scout buddies who that's all they do is watch these guys play. Cause I mean, they're preparing for draft and scouting players. And I say, all right, give me the rundown on all these guys. So I'll do that. And I'll tell you who's got the likelihood of signing, who is definitely showing up, who are the 50-50 guys that we're going to sweat, all that sort of stuff. So I'll definitely do that. Yes. Bring back Paul Skeens to pitch against Water. Jacob, good morning. Mark, what's going on? Look at Jacob. That's a cool hat. Yes, Parrish Construction and Roofing would love to give you that free, no obligation roofing inspection. If need a roof repair, replacement, we'd love to help you out. Parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. Let's see, Mark, any barbecue on the menu today? We might throw a little something on the grill today. Have a little day outside by the pool. Should be fun. Noah, Matt, you get me fired about the bracket. I think Cortland said I'm praying for Norman. Again, like, I think it would depend on what you're paired with. But I think, again, I mean, I've had now multiple people tell me the same thing, that it looks like LSU's going to Chapel Hill and paired with North Carolina. And by the way, for whatever it's worth, the D1 baseball projection does have Chapel Hill and Tucson paired with each other. They just didn't have LSU in the Chapel Hill. They had South Carolina there as the 2 seed, and LSU is the 2 in Clemson. And my understanding is LSU is going to be the 2 in Chapel Hill. No, Jay used to coach at Arizona. Right. That's kind of the point. He'd be going up against his former school and what would feel like a very winnable super. Is North Carolina the team that has 2 ace pitchers that are similarly as good as Jump and Holman? Candidly, don't know a ton about North Carolina this year. So I'll have to dig into them when we see the brackets pop up, and we'll see if that's what they're looking at. I mean, I can look them up real quick and just tell you based on numbers, but I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I know a ton about North Carolina baseball. North Carolina. Let's see. Tar Heels 42-13. They went 22-8 in the league. 32-2 at home this year. As far as stats, they hit 311 as a team. Boy, it looks a lot like Tennessee, doesn't it? Staff ERA of 4.19. Jason DeCaro has a 3.80 ERA. Shea Sprague has a 4.02 ERA. That's their top two starters. It doesn't look like they have a set number 3 starter. Wow, they've got a bunch of guys other than that have started, but those are their top 2 guys. So if you get to a game 3, like if you go through the winner's bracket, if you manage to win your first 2 games, and Carolina, let's say you beat Carolina in a marble game, if it comes to that, right? Then they'd have to go win an elimination game, come back and beat you twice. I don't think they have the pitching to do it. It's really just can you win your first? Now, I'd say the same for LSU, but can you win your first 2 games? That's, I think, the real question. All right, y'all, we might bounce here. Appreciate y'all for being here. Smash the like button if you would. Over 400 of you watching live. I appreciate it so much. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Greg said, Scone, what's your text line? Think I have an idea where you're having issues with playing. Okay, yeah, I would. If you have an idea, I would love if you have info. So my show text line is 396-4400. I'll post it. 225-396-4400. There, I just posted it. So that's my text line. 225-396-4400 is the show text line. Let's see. The other day you said Shores traveled. Yeah, I saw him in the dugout. Yes. So I don't know if he's on the postseason roster, like if he's available. But I did see him. I saw him in the dugout too. Yeah. Okay, y'all. We might be just about done here. Let's see if there's any more that I missed. I want to get to. Look at this. My wife is in the kitchen, asked Alexa to put Matt Moscona on. This is going to be crazy. It was Randy Quaid yelling about Wild Thing. Yeah. Steak. Okay. All right, y'all. It's not after further review at all. It's Morning Scone. And we're brought to you by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. So if you need an orthopedist, they're the best. By the way, all the info scrolls here on the bottom. So Brock, after hours clinic, open nights and weekends. So if you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. Love telling you as well about Parrish Construction and Roofing, parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. And if you have pain, book a session with Crystal Poche over at Restored Motions. She's the best. All right, y'all. We're about an hour away, hour and 4 minutes from the selection show. So we'll see how it goes. Again, D1 has LSU going to Clemson. Baseball America has LSU going to Raleigh. I have LSU going to Chapel Hill, as best I understand, as a 2 seed paired with Tucson. So fingers crossed. Let's see how it goes. Hope the Tigers get a good draw. And if I'm right, you can all sing my praises tomorrow. And if I'm wrong, well, just point and laugh. All right, y'all have a great day. Happy Memorial Day. Be safe out there, man. If y'all are going to be driving around, if you do drink, don't drive. Just be safe today. And we'll see y'all. Peace.